Ladies and gentlemen, I would now like to call Mr. Sanjay Kulshrestha to please take over the stage and for the proceedings of the session, along with other esteemed panelists, Mr. M. Nagraj, Dr. C. Velan Chief, Mr. Sanjay Varshne, and Mr. Ajay Kumar Harit. May I welcome you all, please. Thank you.
I welcome all the dignitaries of the dais and ladies and gentlemen. I am Jairaj Phatak. I am a retired IAS officer of Government of Maharashtra and Government of India for 5 years. And now I work as Director General of All India Institute of Local Self-Government, which is a trust and a society set up by the municipalities for municipal training. My major experience has been as Municipal Commissioner of 3 municipal corporations in Western India, Secretary Urban Development in Maharashtra, and also on deputation to Government of India in other sectors. I don't have a direct experience of housing sector, and I held charge of Secretary Housing in Government of Maharashtra maybe for a fortnight or 3 weeks when the Secretary Housing was on leave. But Pimpri-Chinchwad, being a rich municipal corporation, we did undertake a project of slum rehabilitation by investing money from the municipal corporation surplus funds. It was more or less followed by the Government of India in the Dharavi project of the Prime Minister's grants, when the slum dwellers were given Pakka houses, the RCC construction, at the cost of about 100 crores of rupees, funded by the then Prime Minister, Mr. Rajiv Gandhi. But generally, at least in Maharashtra, housing is not a major function of the municipalities. There are separate housing boards. The housing boards were constructing houses as per the demand in the 3 categories: higher income group, middle income group, and lower income group. But they may have fulfilled maybe 5% of the demand or so. Bulk of the construction in Maharashtra was carried out by private sector, who identified lands, constructed multi-storied houses, and sold those houses. Again, when Government of Maharashtra found that there were some specialized agencies required apart from the housing boards, they created those. One was originally a slum improvement board, because money was coming from the Government of India to improve the environment and other things of the slums. And now the Slum Redevelopment Authority, this SRA, was a concept of Mr. Balasaheb Thackeray when the Yuti government, that is Shiv Sena BJP alliance government, was ruling in Maharashtra from 1995 to 99. This SRA can succeed only when the land costs are about 2.5 to 3 times the construction cost. Because a slum typically cannot occupy an area more than the area of the land which is there. Because it is usually single-storied, although occasionally double-storied slums are coming. Which means that with an FAR or FSI of 1.0, if the same population is rehabilitated by having regular construction in multiple storied buildings, they can be given regular houses, and the area which has become available in the balance FAR, it is sold in the open market at flats which are much larger, and the entire slum can be rehabilitated into regular construction. But these SRA projects can succeed only when the land costs are about 2.5 to 3 times more than the construction cost, which condition is not really fulfilled at places other than Mumbai. So it is not that successful in Maharashtra, although politically there was demand to start Thane, Pune and other places. This is about slums. Then in Maharashtra there is a unique institution called the Building Repair Board in Mumbai, because the old chawls where rent control acts were applied in the Second World War, these chawls, the landlord has no incentive in repairing the old multi-storied buildings, because the landlord gets very minimal rental for that. And the tenants, they also don't have any incentive to repair the building because they are not the owners of the buildings. So these buildings get dilapidated, and there are often complaints of these old dilapidated buildings falling down during monsoons. So government of Maharashtra started a new corporation or new undertaking, building repair board. This building repair board ensures that these old buildings are repaired through a cess which is charged on them. Now the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana is a major initiative which is providing housing through construction as well as with subsidy provision. So now we have an illustrious panel who are experts in this field. So I now request Mr. Nagraj, Director Corporate Planning HUDCO, to kindly offer his views on the subject. The Joint Secretary Housing in the Ministry of Housing and Urban Affairs, Mr. Kuldeep Narayan, has come. So he will take over as the chairman and also for running the session. And I was a stopgap arrangement, so I will first request Mr. Kuldeep Narayan to offer his remarks, and then he can ask the other speakers to speak.
Thank you so much. First of all, I'm sorry I will not be able to take the offer of chairing the session and calling the speakers. That you will have to continue doing it, and thank you for that. But thank you for calling me to address this August gathering with this illustrious panel that we are going to discuss housing for all. What I am going to offer you, many of you who may have heard me earlier, let me explain what we do and how it is related to housing for all, with the disclaimer that housing for all is not done by us. That is something we have to remember this. I look after, being mission director of PM Awas Yojana Urban, I look after the implementation of a scheme across the country, learning from states, guiding them during the implementation. And I am proud to say that as a team of national government, state government and municipal governments, in last 10 years we have been able to support construction of 12 million houses, 1.25 crore, 12.5 million, out of which close to 10 million, that is 1 crore, are about to get completed. As on date, as we speak, it is 97,50,000. This number may be staggering, but that is not the end of it. Housing for all is something, when we are talking about housing for all, we have to understand someone may be very poor, someone may be very rich, someone may be middle income, someone may be upper income, higher income group. Affordable housing per se has a very different connotation. As per my income, whether I am able to purchase or rent a house in a particular city where I am, that makes it affordable or not. And Housing for All mission of Government of India wants to intervene here, develop the ecosystem in which each and every person has capability to either purchase or rent a house as per his own income level. So if we talk about the overall ecosystem, it is not poor housing, it is not EWS housing, it is not LIG housing. Although the focus always remains on EWS LIG housing because shortages are more there, requirement is more there, but affordable housing per se and housing for all mission is not about giving subsidy, giving support to people to purchase or rent houses. Rather, it is about ecosystem, and this is why I started with the disclaimer that housing for all is not done by the national government. It is actually the national government, state government, municipal authorities, developers in the industry, and all the more there are people who construct their own houses, individual houses, not the apartment type, with some contractor. So they are the biggest contributors, and all the governments are just a kind of giving them nudging support, helping everyone tide over this hesitation and thought of purchasing a house, and helping everyone in renting a house. So if we take this thing as a kind of background, then in this background I would like to project to you what is housing for all and what needs to be done. To understand the dimension of problem, our population was 33 crore when we got independence, and by 2047 when we celebrate the 100 years of independence, it would be close to 170 crores. That is growth of 5 times approximately. Homelessness is an issue in rural areas as well as urban areas. This is why government runs these two flagship missions of PMAY Urban and PMAY Gramin. In last 10 years, close to 4 crore houses have been completed, built, 3 crore in rural areas and 1 crore in urban areas, and for in next 5 years we aspire, I would use the word, to construct another 2 crore in rural areas and 1 crore in urban areas. But this is exactly where the departure comes. When India got independence, the urbanization rate would have been 15-17%. Today we are close to 37-40%, 37% to be exact. Although some studies say it is higher, but let me take the statutory percentage that comes. And by 2047, we will be approximately 52% with a population of 80 crores in urban areas, which would be close to 80% higher than what it is today. So as we speak, in next 20-22 years, we have to accommodate almost same amount of urban population, whatever is living today, and with the kind of, if we think about the improving the facilities, improving the home ownership, improving the urban amenities, then probably meeting the shortfall, constructing more. So in next 20 years, we have to achieve the facilities, we have to provide for housing and other urban amenities, what we did not provide even in last 100 years. That is the scale of issue. And if we have to do it, then housing for all is not a scheme, then housing for all is policy intervention as well as programmatic intervention. Programmatic intervention is the Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana Urban 2.0, what we are now implementing for next 1 crore over next 5 years. but it is the policy intervention which is going to change the game. And what could be that? Let's first recognize that shortage is more in EWS and LIG segments, smaller houses. 2, shortage is more in metros. 3, inefficient land usage is not common but pervasive in our metro cities. I don't want to use the word common. We are here in Delhi, just one day, don't do anything, take a vehicle, go around some 30 kilometers in the city. If you like Mumbai, go to Mumbai, go to Connaught Place, just see some of the buildings, why they are there. Are they needed or should they be? Why are we having vacant plots in the middle of city? Not 2000 square meters, not 4000 square meters, maybe 30,000 square meters, 40,000 square meters. Even heart of the city, not even city, heart of NCR, which houses today more than 3 crore population, and the Delhi MCD and NDMC alone, they house more than, slightly less than 2 crore now. Even then we are having close to a transit node. There could not be bigger transit nodes than maybe Connaught Place, Sarai Kale Khan and Anand Vihar, if I talk about Delhi. Even in these places we are having such inefficient use of land that so much of land is either vacant or the building is not being used. Maybe Coca-Cola building. Similarly, in Mumbai, many of the old textile mills, in Kanpur, across the city, across the country, we are having inefficient land management, something which could be unlocked. So when I am talking about housing for all, I am talking about policy interventions. After realizing that where the shortage of housing, where I would rather not use the word shortage of housing, I would like to use the word requirement of housing, because we are not planning, we don't have to plan for whatever is requirement today. We have to plan for what is requirement for next 20 years. So where are the requirements? In the economic centers which are driving our economies. And what is the kind of housing we need? We need housing for people who come work in the cities. They should have good quality, adequate housing. Then we have to think about these kind of lands which are available and provide for their efficient use. We have to provide for such construction technologies which are not only fast, they are also sustainable and climate resilient. If we are talking about housing for all, and if we are talking about housing for all, comes the most important factor in urban India, that is dilemma and the paradox of vacant houses and housing shortage. We are going to have house listing starting from 1st April for the census, and I will not be surprised if our house listing operation, our census reveals again the hard truth that we are having close to or more than 1 crore houses which may be vacant. My own house which may be in some other city, if I am not living there and if no one is living there, it is a vacant house. It is a wastage of national resource. So if we are talking about housing for all, I am sure all of us do realize that it is not the ownership based housing that provides adequate housing in cities. It is also promotion of rental housing which provides for the manpower which works in the cities. And if we have to provide for good rental ecosystem, Then we have to provide for the Model Tenancy Act that the government circulated to all the states, adoption of Model Tenancy Act, as well as some policy interventions which ministry along with the state government is already working on. How do we promote people to give their vacant houses on rent? What is the hesitation? Hesitation could be whether my house will get vacated when I need it or not. That is the biggest of all. Two, slightly illegal one, it will be counted in my income. If it is a formalized rental economy, it will be counted in my income, income tax will come. Three, most of the cities have a concept of municipal charges as percentage of annual rental income. So the real rental income will come out in the market. That is one aspect where an individual may not be willing to formalize the rental thing, which creates a lot of issues, creates inefficiencies. Other side of inefficiency would be, do we promote, that is, please let this sentence sink in your mind. Do we promote, institutional investment in rental housing? Forgive me for what I am saying. For long and for many, thought has been whoever is giving house on rent is a landlord, he is a very strong person, he is the richest man on the earth, and whoever is taking on rent is the poor guy. And it has created a lot of stress in the rental laws. On top of that, if company is doing it, then they must be making hell lot of profit. Net result is, let me tell you some hard fact. A company providing housing for its industrial worker, some companies having industry, factory, maybe textiles, maybe leather, maybe logistics, maybe electronics, providing housing and not even housing, it's a hostel to its own employees. In most of the state pays commercial tax on municipal charges, commercial rate for water, commercial rate on electricity. Just think about it. So the rate of electricity is not being determined by the use, rather being determined by the who is the owning it. Now, what it creates inefficiency in the market, that if you go to the slum, there is no formalization of rental income, there is no reason why you need to declare your rental income, because it is not formalized. There is no reason that you will pay any higher electricity or water charges, and certainly there will not be any municipal charges because most of slum may be illegal. So if there is a factory nearby, a good, adequate, dignified living would be even the same quality would be twice as expensive as the same quality of living available in slum. So these are the issues which we need to tackle. We need to tackle the issue of formalization of rental market. We need to tackle the issue of promoting rental housing irrespective of the fact who is owning it, whether retail or institutional investor or someone who is just having a spare house. And this is where I must tell that our government is working apart from the schematic support on policy support with the state governments, and I am sure all of us together, municipal governments, state, central governments and the industry, we can fight off the issues that are creating problems, and that would be the true housing for all, when everyone is capable of purchasing or having a house, own house anywhere in the country, and he should be able to take a house on rent wherever he goes for his economic activity in any city. That is what housing for all would be. And let's all take this pledge that wherever we are, whatever we are working, we should be working with this overall objective, irrespective of the fact whether we are in national government or in industry or state government. So thank you everyone. Thank you for calling me. These are my thoughts, and I hope they will at least leave some food for thought in you, and whatever discussion we have, it comes out some actionable points which we can also use. Thank you so much. Thank you, Municipalika.
Mr. Kuldeep Narayan has to leave in 10-15 minutes. So if there are any questions, maybe 2 questions he may be able to answer. So if there are any questions from the audience or even among the panelists, please ask him, because he is leaving in 10 minutes. Okay. You want to ask him a question? Ask him.
Greetings, sir, and very wonderful and, on the grassroots. Thank you. So my question is that we are already struggling to match the pace of the demand. But the reality, ground reality is that the service life of our structures is gradually going down. So what should be done to standardize this construction industry so that the service life of the RCC structures goes beyond centuries? Because my mentor, an ITN, says that RCC life is N if it is casted properly, constructed properly. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Harijji. I think it's not my domain. First of all, let me accept this. And already there are standards which define how RCC construction should be done. However, most of the thought, most of the design parameters are for 50 to 70 years. That is what at least how housing is designed. But I will request you to think from a different point of view. Why only RCC structure? Can we start thinking from this point of view that whatever construction is being done after 30 years, after 50 years, after 70 years, or after 100 years, whenever that is to be removed, can we add the cost of removal or cost of redevelopment also while we are thinking about the design? Because in my view, it will not be very appropriate to design for centuries. We did not expect what would be the kind of urban life 100 years back. And at many places, the redevelopment is not coming because the structure may be weak. Redevelopment is coming because more and more density needs to be accommodated there. So just a weird thought for this. I do not recommend that a structure should be designed for centuries, 1. 2, think about it. if you want something to be permanent, do you want strong enough to remain same for centuries, or do you want adaptability in the structure so that it can be modified after every 10, 20, 30 years as per need? That is what we should be thinking and designing for that. Thank you.
Hello.
Thank you. With this, I'll request the next speaker, Mr. Nagaraj, Director HUDCO, to kindly offer his.
Respected my co-panelists and ladies and gentlemen, very good evening to all of you. It is my privilege and pleasure to be with you among this evening. So, as the name goes, Housing and Urban Development Corporation, HUDCO, which has been established in the year 1970 exclusively for taking care of economically weaker section and lower income group of housing, we were techno financial institution. That's how we started with a modest equity of 2 crore rupees, and we have become a biggest company now. Is a Navaratna company with a turnover of more than 1,60,000 crores. In that, 60% of our loan book is predominantly to the infrastructure. That infra also core infrastructure, which normally banks and other institutions shy away with funding. Water supply, sewage, roads, urban mobility, this area and urban development. In addition to that, our housing portfolio, almost 90% of our housing portfolio is exclusively for economically weaker section and lower income group. That is the strength we have been doing it. In addition to that, recently we have also diversified into new area called UI Win. So that means exclusively working with urban local bodies. I can feel proud and say that so far we have been associated more than 2,000 ULBs out of 5,200 ULBs roughly. That is the kind of association HUDCO has been doing for last 5 decades. In terms of number, my previous speaker has already come out with a very good numbers of housing for all. From the government's perspective, from HUDCO side, we are happy to share that we've been associated with Pradhan Mantri Awas Yojana 1.0 in this almost around 42,000 crores worth projects we have funded both in urban as well as rural areas. Plus also we worked in consultancy, more than 630 projects we have done scrutiny and all. We were also the nodal agency for channelizing, so credit linked subsidy scheme, and also we worked in a capacity building program in PMAY 1. Now we have totally geared up for a PMAY 2.0 also. In this, we have started working with the state governments. We don't call ourselves as a lender. We always call as a developmental partner. We don't want to earn our profit. Our main motto is that profitability with social justice. So I would like to share a couple of examples also recently which we have started, like working with our previous speakers already said that rental housing programs. In fact, Tamil Nadu has taken a lead in that. We've been associated with them, working couple of projects, and also they are the pioneers in working women's hostel. Let me quote you the example where I belong to in Tamil Nadu. There is a place called Pochampalli. We just happened to go that Ola has come out with an electric scooty. So more than 50% workforce is a women workforce. And also there is a company called Tata Electronics near Hosur. So again, around 60 to 70% of the workforce is women. So all young girls 18 to 25. So they come out with a 5,000 units of working women's hostel near Hosur. We happen to see that at shift changing, most of these young girls will be riding in a TVS 50 or scooty, going in a groups. That really encourages that workforce in the Tamil Nadu is more than 50% and women compared to national average. And in Institute Slum Redevelopment, we are also associated with a couple of projects. To begin with, started with the Maharashtra. Government of Maharashtra has created a special purpose vehicle in the city of Thane. So 7,000 houses we have already financed associated, which is at Thane Municipal Corporation and Mahapreet. And we are also contemplating to get into the private sector. That's where a lot of scope is there of late. We have come out with a new product called PPP models in the private sector. In addition to energy, transportation, airport and seaport. And we are also looking into how to associate with the biggest slum development project in Asia. I can call it Dharavi. We're also working with it. In addition to that, the area where we feel that since 40 crores is likely to be added in the next 22, 23 years, we at HUDCO feel strongly that a lot of work needs to be done in retrofitting the existing cities and also creation of new cities. I feel huge scope for a financiers like HUDCO to fund these affordable housing programs. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. If there are any questions, they can be taken at the end. Now I'll request the next speaker, Dr. C. Whelan, CEO of Cibros.
Very good afternoon, everybody. Yeah, as Joint Secretary mentioned, the housing for all refers to not only a specific segment, but it should cater to all segments of the public. I am going to speak on a private sector perspective, how we are supporting the housing segment. So I am coming from the place, when Nagaraj was mentioning Tamil Nadu, from Chennai. It used to be, very horizontal, low-rise kind of construction. It used to be. Even now, if you look at Chennai, you can just count in a single hand, fingers, how many high-rise buildings are there. But the way the urbanization is taking place, for example, Chennai alone, I am just talking about it, the industrial growth, the services sector growth, IT sector growth. Besides, around 70,000 expats are living in the city itself. If you look at variety of the segments we have, every segmental growth, for example, high-end segment, mid-end segment, and affordable segment, all the three segments are to be equally or not equally, appropriately considered for development. That is one thing which is the very primary thing today. As Joint Secretary was rightly mentioning, and even Mr. Nagaraj was touching it, there are blue collar workforce, like women working in electronic and Apple industry, and many people working in the automobile sector and all. Now there is a huge focus on that particular segment by the respective corporates themselves. They rather fund for such kind of developments and nearer to the factories, so that they can walk to work kind of environment is being created. That is what we also call it as sustainability, right? We have to have a place to work, place to live, and place to play, rather retail segments and all those things. That's called a sustainability angle. So urbanization is also a specific reason, or the one which is demanding the housing growth. The next one I am going to touch upon is that why the scaling is happening nowadays vertically. Some of the things, which is a recent experience even to me, the land prices or availability is something very, 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 very difficult. So that is why we are going for vertical growth, vertical development. But that is also one of the attractive points, because if you go any floors beyond 5, 10, 15, there is a premium attached to that, or even pricing. So it's an attraction which is coming up. The innovation is one more area of this particular agenda in our discussion. The innovation is something where I always say doing different things is important, but doing things differently matters. What it means, adoption of technologies. Like for example, today 1+1 construction, ground plus 1 construction is doable by 3D printing. Is very much, even IIT Madras, I also teach in IIT Madras, so we have already brought in the concept of 3D printing, which has become even possible even by private players. Likewise, if you look at the technological use like IoT or AI or even digital twin, for the speed and the quality of construction to be ensured, means these technologies are in practice, which we are adopting in our organization also. And not to, just to pat about our organization, but unless otherwise there is an alignment of thoughts, alignment of goals in such a way, not only on the financial front, but also on the quality and customer centric as besides the technology use, it will be very difficult to meet the demand what we are in need of today for the housing for all concept. So what I am summarizing is that to my interest, there is a need for housing development which is also practically happening it across cities because of the urbanization, because of industrialization, because of various other reasons. There are equally the construction, the challenges. I want to touch it upon this particular thing. The challenges what we experience is that availability of skilled resources. And I think this is one subject which everybody has to look at it is that skill development of unskilled and semi-skilled laborers, which is a very, very big challenge today in construction industry. Even though we are going for mechanization of construction activities, this training requirement for the skill, not only by the government, but also any kind of organization which has to look at it, is also one of the areas of focus we need to have. And sustainability lastly, and I also part of IGBC, I would recommend certainly all the affordable housing or whatever housing we are going for has to be built on a sustainability angle, thereby we can able to minimize the impact to the environment. That's where I stop it, and any kind of questions I'll take it up in the last. Thank you.
Yes, again questions at the end. The next speaker, Mr. Sanjay Varshney, Chief Operating Officer, Signature Global. Please keep yourself in 5 to 7 minutes so that we'll have about 10 minutes at the end for questions.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and the panelists on the chair. And thank you, Municipalika, giving us opportunity to discuss something about the construction we are doing on this platform. As Kuldeep sir says, we have a huge demand. There is a big gap in the demand and supply of housing. I think government alone can't meet those demands. The role of the private players, the builders, is a big role, and I prefer that more and more private builders has to be developed across the country to meet that future demand. To encourage the pupils to come forward, I think our procedures, system, policies should be more easier and simpler, so that the people come forward. And I think to achieve our target, Prime Minister's vision of 2047 is a Viksit Bharat. I think our policies should be, and approval procedure will be more simple and more simple and easy, so that we can go forward. As far as I will go for the signatures, what the signature is doing, I will little bit put up a little bit about the future demand and supply, what are the requirement by the 2000. This is the market dynamics. I will just put up a few little bit figures of the market dynamics. In a financial year 2026, India's residential sales is expected to reach all-time high of rupees 6.65 lakhs crores, making a robust of 90% increase with respect to the previous years. Ultra luxury domain, Gurgaon has surpassed Mumbai as India leading market for home pricing above rupees 10 crores, recording sale of rupees 24,000 crores in 2025. The Tier 2 and Tier 3 growth, urbanization projected to reach 40% of the population by 2023 is driving demand for affordable housing in the smaller cities. Smart infrastructure, like the smart city mission, are acting in a catalyst for the property price increasing, which rose in a 48 out of the 50 tracks Indian cities in the late 2025. Affordable housing, I think a basic requirement of the country is to create a more of affordable housing. Signature itself has started his journey from the affordable housing, but a little bit dynamics of the last year I was just going to bring about to you. The share of the affordable housing unit, affordable housing, the price less than 50 lakhs in India, top 8 cities decreased from 52 to 17%. If you see the last year's figures, it's a decrease because there is a no availability and there is a no government policy be to taken by the builders. Growing deficit, the urban housing shortage is estimated at 9.4 to 10 million units as a figure projected to expose to 30 million by 2030 if current trend continue. Affordability in a major metros like Bengaluru, 20% of the buyers are now priced out of the homes under rupees 1 crore, are significantly increased from the 2024. Segment developers are abundantly low margin affordable projects, 12% margin in favor of premium and luxury housing where the margin is 25 to 30% due to high input cost. So this is a little bit demand and I think government has to be look after the gap to how to meet the gap, this gap. I just a little bit about the housing demand in NCR area, especially in Haryana, which are the Sona and the new car Gurgaon. The lot of the construction is coming up. All of the estate coming up. Dwarka Expressway is now a demand. Greater Noida West, Sonipat and Farida. These are the new zones has been created with a lot of demand and a lot of constructions are going on. Now I come to the little bit about the Signature Global. So Signature Global is started 11 years back with objective of to providing affordable housing to the country. And the best affordable housing policy, I think Haryana government has. A lot of the builders has come across where they have fixed up a price criteria. Cost of the sale cost is the 4,000 rupees on the carpet area. Maximum size of the unit is 60 square meter, 645 square meter. Means it's come to be a unit is of around 24 lakhs around. One unit comes to be 24 lakhs rupees. But that in a 2030, this policy came where the land cost in Gurgaon comes to be around 5 crore rupees per acre. We right now, right now the price of the land in Gurgaon is around 30-40 lakhs. So it is coming up more unviable to come up with the new affordable housing. So government has, I think, looked out how should we provide the appropriate cost. So this policy benefit can be provided to the benefits there. So now this is a little bit of the Signature Global. We started with the affordable housing. Right now, 18,000 are units under construction or construction. 14,000 units has already been handed over to the customers. In 2019 also, we come up with again a government policy of DDJY, where they have catered a middle income groups of the plotted development. We are constructing ground floor 4-story houses. Around the 10,500 houses are either handed over to the customer or in different stages of the contract construction. Now we've come out to be also the demand of the luxury and segment has increased. In the 2024, Signature has also entered into a luxury market and 8,000 of the units are in the different stages of the constructions. This is our mapping. These are the few pictures I just want to put the affordable housing work. As a Signature, we change the vision of the pupils looked after by the affordable housing. It's not a cheap housing. It is a housing with all amenities that you look after in the luxury segment or mid segment. So we have changed the way the pupil, only the size of the unit is matter and the cost is the matter. So we change the way the people look after the affordable housing. These are the few pictures of our affordable housing which completed and over to the customers. This is again a few houses of the mid segment, which is also we have created and handed over to the customers. Few of the handed over, few are under construction. Sir, I will take up one more minute. These are the few projects. And I just want to know that in the last 18 years of the journey, Signature Global emerged as the fifth biggest company of the India after this Godrej, DLF, Lodha, and the Signature, the fifth in the terms of the sale. And we have a share in NCR, 30% of the share in NCR and 27% of the share in the Gurgaon. 55 plus million square feet of the under construction units are under construction. 14 plus million has already been handed over. 20 plus million square feet on pipeline and 21 million launch. But actually, this is a figure about the company. And we are the IGBC age certified company, where the IGBC, you people know, the age is the IFC rated American company of for the green certification. All our projects are age or IGBC certified. And we are the real estate developer using the latest technologies I described in the last meeting. In the Marshall, latest technology in the terms of the construction, in terms of the planning, execution, or project monitoring. So, and these are the few technology we use in our construction. Thank you very much, because the time is short. So I just want to close. If someone has some inquiry personally to me, they can discuss me separately. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now we have the last speaker, Mr. Ajay Kumar Harith, Director, ICA Waterproofers. Now only 10 minutes are remaining, so I'll request him to keep his talk to 5 to 6 minutes, so that some questions are possible.
Vaishnav Jan to. Greetings to the dignitaries on the dais and this august assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Ajay Kumar Harith, the moisture man representing ICA Waterproofers Private Limited, and very glad to introduce the third dimension in construction industry. That is a moisture audit. The source, the inspiration of this moisture audit is the author of StatPro, my technical mentor, Professor Sushil Kumar Agarwal, IIT Roorkee ex-head. He gave me this task of standardizing the construction industry, the ailing construction industry. In 15 years, and after 5 years of deliberations, we could finalize moisture to be the key component in defining the standardization of the construction industry. जॉइंट सेक्रेटरी साहब के साथ मैं एग्री करता हूं कि यस, हाउसिंग में हमें 50-70 साल से ज़्यादा की ज़रूरत नहीं है, बट जो टनल्स हैं, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, वो टनल्स हमें 500 साल नहीं, परमानेंट चाहिए, बिकॉज 3 घंटे का मेरे पास में शटडाउन होता है टू रिपेयर दीज. कैसे करेंगे रिपेयर हम उनको? सो बिकॉज द टाइम इज लिमिटेड, so we did a R&D of 23 years and finalized all the pain points in the construction industry. You can see the matrix. Even the latest epidemic of the construction industry yet to be acknowledged by the IITs, that is differential settlement of structures in the country. Every 5th structure in South Delhi is under differential settlement. So ICA has sealed the locked this technology also. We have total of 7 process patents and patents. Very less time for this, but this is important. It stands, to stand out alone in a crowd is difficult. Indians lack moral and physical courage. That's why the construction industry has lost 500 lakh crores assets in the last 45 years. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, because of the decline in the service life. Even after 5 to 10 years, we are doing repairs. 4 to 6% of the GDP is going down the drain for repairs due to corrosion-related early distress. This is my mentor who gave me this task. And Shridan Saab, if you don't know job, learn it. If you can't do it, engage somebody to do it. And Vashne Saab, in the environment where you can't even expect 3 years guarantee, this is a 27 years guarantee of a 38 lakh square feet, 110 buildings done for defense. This is engineering. So we need to introduce engineering. Because we didn't have any standard whatsoever in the construction industry, people were quoting -30 and stamped as per, completed as per specifications, because we don't have a transparent system to define it. So ICA has introduced moisture audit with respect to waterproofing, structure rehabilitation, corrosion mitigation, construction industry, and trap dampness engineering. This is the source, this is the soul of construction in trap dampness engineering. जो पानी अंदर आ गया, वो infection अंदर आ गया, उसको बाहर कैसे निकालना है? ICA has locked this technology by even processes patenting it. Why do we need our RMCA? The life of structures has gone down from 100 years in 1980 to 20, 30 years right now. And thousands of buildings in the country are being recommended for dismantling as early as 5 years. Ask IIT for the answers. There we come in, we want to increase the service life. This is the general scenario in Dwarka, in Mumbai. This is Economic Times figures, 4 to 6% of your GDP. ICI ki figures hain. 500 lakh crores loss has already been done in the country. Problem statement, wall dampnesses, permanent basement leakages. People are just draining water out of that. No, because it is leading to differential settlement. If water is there in your hydrology is changing, so we need to introduce an infrastructure audit for residual moisture content in construction. How do I know if a construction is good or bad or poor? कोई parameter नहीं है. Answer is moisture audit brought to you by ICA. I fought 3.5 years with BIS. I went half bald like Chanakya, and then a committee was approved, and I'm glad to tell you that ICA is the convener of that very committee drafting this code for the country. Thank you. So SOPs of whatever we do, pre-moisture audit, काम कराना वाटरिंग वाले से पहले मॉइस्चर ऑडिट करेंगे, फिर काम करेंगे, 1 महीने बाद फिर मॉइस्चर ऑडिट करेंगे, डिफरेंस अगर मॉइस्चर का आया, देन इट इज इंजीनियरिंग, अदरवाइज इट इज अ फुल सिंपल. वी हैव मेड इट सो सिंपल, कीप इट सिंपल एंड स्टूपिड. मॉइस्चर मीटर हैंडल मॉइस्चर मीटर से बेसिकली कर रहे हैं. आई एम मूविंग वेरी फास्ट सर टू जस्ट गिव यू अ ग्लिम्स ऑफ व्हाट वी कैन डू एंड व्हाट वी हैव डन. राष्ट्रपति भवन में पहला स्टडी CBRI ने किया. CBRI was a consultant. This graph of moisture had to show you that yes, waterproofing has been done. Moisture content of 48% has been brought down to 21.5%. This is revolution in the industry. ICA is bringing the first star rating standard in the world. Very soon the client should be asking, iska star rating kya hai building ka? So please be prepared for this revolution. And ICA has a legacy of 32 years of solving only the impossible cases. Bharat Mandapam was done by us when actually the industry failed to deliver. Similarly, DMRC projects, which this moisture audit has been recognized by Indian Middle Congress way back in 2020, where we have had this national event on this. And that's it. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. I made it timely, sir. Thank you.
So we have 2 minutes and 17 seconds, and maybe 5 minutes we can go into the tea time. So if there are any questions, please ask, naming whom you will prefer to answer the question.
Sir, may I ask a question to audience?
No, let's. I would like to know why we are not able to adapt a Singapore model, make real estate an opportunity for creating employment as well as income for the government. It's a great opportunity. Why are we stalled in this? I mean, you at least have 5 districts in India of the 600 districts. Allow construction to happen, please. Anybody? I mean, why not?
There is no one from the government here, but would anyone like to answer?
I think government has to look after the policies that I mentioned also. There is a lot of talents available in the country, and like as Prime Minister say, make in India, नौकरी करने से अगर नौकरी देने वाले बनो, पर I think government should come up with the policies. I think there is a lot of talent available in India which come forwards, and we can create a lot of Singapores across our countries with the proper policies come. We have a demand, we have a demand supply gap, and only the things, the proper policies. As a private builders, I know what kind of the problems we face. We do the work and we face a lot of approvals. There is a chain of the approvals, government systems we have to face to conclude, deliver our projects.
Any other question? Yes, sir.
Just to supplement Sanjay Varshini, things are really changing. In the last 10 years, we have seen that the transformational changes in the housing. In fact, this is the most structured urbanization is happening. So I think things are really changing.
Sir, actually,
Yes, sir, please ask.
when we talk of housing,
Hold it like this.
Can you speak little loud?
when we talk of housing, 80% of the people in the urban areas are from the middle class or from the below middle class. For making the housing and the housing facility repairs and all that available, there has to be a skill set. There has to be a skill knowledge set. And for that, the government can play the most crucial role in skill development institution rather than any individual or any construction industry or any. The government, as in police, it is an institution. The judiciary, it is an institution. And when we talk of the building construction industry, there has, apart from BAS, there has to be the basic institution, the institutional spirit, and the propulsion of the institutional spirit. Refining of the institutional spirit, which can cater to all the below 80%, I'm not talking above 20%, 30%, below 80%, who have very meager resources, who have to deal with and adjust within those resources. Thank you.
So any other question? Or otherwise, the moisture man wants to ask a question to the audience.
What is the life of RCC? How many of you believe that the life of RCC is above 70 years? Please raise your hands. Why I'm asking this? Today, I asked this question to a group of IITians. I was shocked to hear that nobody went above 30 years. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, we need to go back to the drawing boards and understand RCC is some, my mentor says, if an engineer can define the age of RCC, then he doesn't understand what is RCC. Because at RCC is 86% stone grit aggregate. It is a permanent thing. If you save it from water, if you keep it waterproof. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Okay, so I think the time is also up. Unless somebody thinks that questions are more important than tea and coffee, perhaps we can now break for tea and coffee. Thank you very much. Is it a question or an observation? If observation, you can make it to the audience later.
Now it is PPC. This, the role of moisture has become more critical in PPC rather than it was in OPC. When we see the old buildings, PAU building, Chandigarh Secretariat and all that, they have better life.
So,
We
may,
live with what the constructions we are doing.
Mr. Harith is prepared to discuss with you over tea or coffee. Thank you very much.
In fact, sir has validated my role as moisture content man.
Thank you so much to all our esteemed panelists for such an insightful session. I'm sure each of us got to learn a lot through all the discussion that just happened. Now I'd like to request Mr. Rajiv Agarwal, MD and CFO for FS Media Limited, to please honor the chair with the momentum. Dr. Jairaj Pathak. A round of applause, please, ladies and gentlemen. Now I'd request the chair, Dr. Jairaj Pathak, to please present the mementos to all other esteemed panelists.